Hello, advanced production for writers. We're getting ready for a Capstone project, our last project of the semester, the most important one. And I want to show you how to transfer your Logic session files, your tempo map, your backing tracks, your click tracks into Pro Tools. I know we did it before, but this tutorial is going to have a slightly different variation. So let's start right now. So before we start with Logic and Pro Tools, I want to show you what I did with my folder. Okay, so I created a folder, as you can see, and I labeled it properly. Okay, and inside that folder, I created 6 folders. I already shared and talked about this before. As you can see, production paperwork, media, project files, exported files, goodies, final delivery. So in project files, I have my Logic session, and my Pro Tools and C values and everything there. Now that you know this, I want to tell you that in exported files, I'm going to create a folder that I'm going to call it Logic Exports. Okay, perfect. So we have our Logic Exports folder. Now my goal is to go back to Logic. So let's go to Logic. Welcome to Logic. The first thing you want to make sure is that your starting point and your end point are correct. Okay, as you can see, my tempo over here is changing. So there's some changes in my tempo. We want to make sure that we transfer all this tempo map in Pro Tools. And I want to show you in a few seconds how to do that. Okay, the second thing you want to make sure is that you select the all. You go to my all section, you go all and go to my click track. Do you see click track? Let me go. And in my click track, I want to make sure to create a track. So create track or Control T. Just for demonstration purposes, I want to tell you that the Logic session is really short. It's not what I'm expecting from you. It's just I'm doing this as a demo, okay? So in the click track, the way to print this click track is very simple. You go to File and then to Bounce Track in Place or Control Command B, okay? Super simple. You select click. Let's label it just click. Perfect. Done. That's it. So simple. Woo! So easy. Okay, we have our click track. Perfect. We have our printed click track. Now, for the tempo map, we have MIDI information started in beat 1 until the end. That's so important. So as you can see, I just had the Cuban percussion and contact in the middle of the song. So what I did, I created a new track just for tempo purposes. And I created a MIDI note, empty, silent MIDI note that started from beat 1 until the end. Okay, there's a shortcut if you want to, for example, in some cases when you draw a note and you want to extend that, you just select Shift backslash and make it bigger. That's good. That's nice. Okay, so you have it from the beginning until the end. Okay, let's make sure that this is perfect. Done. So we have our MIDI information. So we're ready for the export of our MIDI track. So the next stage is to bounce all our projects so we can use this music as a backing track for our session. The first thing you have to do is to mute your click track. You can select or click over there or select K. And also you want to mute the track that you printed. Okay, you mute it. That's muted. That's perfectly fine. You want to make sure that the start point and the end point are correct. Okay, and then once it's correct, you go to File, Bounce, Project or Section or Command B. You want to select file format, the WAV file, resolution in 24-bit, sample rate in 48,000, K, file type interleaved, and then you have your starting point and your end point, and include audio tail, perfect, and click OK. And guess what? We already created a folder for this. Remember that? We have an exported files folder. As you can see, you select your folder, exported files folder, and a Logic exports folder there. Yes, we're so organized. Yes, so beautiful. Okay, just hit bounce. And it's done. Okay, as you can see over here in our Logic Exports folder, we have our backing track. Let's hear it. Perfect. Just make sure to label this backing track, okay? Backing track. Yes. Okay, now let's export just our click track, okay? Just our click track. So let's go to File, Export, one region as audio file, okay? It's going to open the window and we're going to select our folder. We have our exported files folder, Logic Exports, great. And I want to create a pattern that is custom. So I'm going to call this click track, okay? Perfect. Already and export. Done. As you can see, we have our click track in our Logic Exports folder. Let's hear it. Perfect. As you can see, we have our backing track and our click track. All great. Perfect. So the last step is to export our MIDI information so we can transfer a tempo map from Logic into Pro Tools. So the way to do that, remember, is to add, the way I did it here, I'm going to repeat myself again. I added a MIDI note from this, basically from bar 1 until the end, just to be basically super sure that everything is covered. And then I'm going to select my 3 tracks. I have them selected. I'm going to go to File. Yes. And then export selection as MIDI file or Option Command E. Okay, selection as MIDI file. And then once you have that, it's going to open this window. We have already an exported files folder, Logic Exports, and I'm going to call this MIDI tempo map. Okay, as you can see now, we have our tempo map and it's finished with .amid. So we have our backing track, our click track, our MIDI tempo map. Yes. So our next step is to open a Pro Tools session. So I'm going to create a new session. I'm going to call it CW422, exactly the way we did it. Okay. Okay. So we are all done. And then I want to also show you that the bit depth is to be 24-bit and it should be interleave. Let's find the location. Let's select the location. And guess what? We already have a project files folder. So just go to Pro Tools and you want to save it there. Make sure that you're saving it in the Pro Tools folder. Open and create. Okay, so this is it. It's very empty, basically, very empty. So the first thing you want to do is to import your MIDI information. You can select Option Command I or File, Import MIDI. Okay, Option Command I. That's a shortcut. So I'm going to directly go to my exported files folder and I'm going to select my MIDI tempo map. I go to Open. And I'm going to make sure, this is so important, that you are selecting location session start, very important, MIDI track, and import tempo map from MIDI file. This is so important. And import key signature from MIDI file, very important. Click OK. Perfect. We already have it. As you can see, we have tempo map. We have our tempo map there. We don't need our MIDI information, so I'm going to hide and make it inactive. We need our MIDI tracks at all. Okay, so as you can see, we have our tempo. Our tempo is working. Yes, it's looking great. So now let's import our backing track and our click track. So let's go to File, Import, Audio, or Shift Command I. Okay, so we go to our exported files. We have Logic Exports, we have backing track and click track. Go to Copy All, Open. We want to save it in audio files. It's looking good. And Open, and we want to save it in new track. And perfect. So now we have our click track and our backing track. Okay, let me do this bigger. As you can see, so far our composition and our click track and everything, our tempo map starts in bar 1. But we don't want that. We want to give to the musicians at least 2 bars of count off. Okay, and also we want to make sure the bar 1 aligns perfectly with bar 1 in our score. How can we fix this? This is very important. So please pay attention. Go to Event, okay, in the menu, and then select Time Operations. And then go to Move Song Start. Very important, Move Song Start, okay? Now you are going to have this time operations window. What I wanna do is that we're selecting in time base, we're selecting bars and beats, not time code or minutes and seconds, we're selecting bars and beats. So I wanna move start to bar 3, okay? Let's do bar 3. And then we wanna select here where it says renumber song start to 1, okay? Very important. And then you want to realign things like song start, meter, tempo key, chord, rulers, and everything. You just select song start and click apply. Perfect. That's done. As you can see, now we have our 2 bars of count off perfectly. As you can see, 2 bars of count off. And we have our song started in bar 1. Perfect. That's it. So simple. 2 more things missing. We want to make sure that we're creating a click track. Okay, so go to track, create click track, and perfect. So we have the click track over there in the top. Great. And we want to make sure that in a click track, in our plugin click track, we are selecting the way CDOLOOP does this, and it's beautiful, is by going to Other and selecting marimba 2 accented in number 1. In the number 1, click 1, and then in click 2, you are selecting marimba 2. You go to other and go to marimba 2, just marimba 2. Okay, so we have our click track. Perfect. It should match with our tempo map. Now let's hide our printed click track. Okay, and let's hide it and make it inactive for now. So now we have just our backing track. That's great. That's beautiful. We can color this red, so we know it's an important thing just for us. Perfect. So we're almost done, almost ready. So the last step is to add markers. So you want to make sure that you go to the numeric keypad and select enter, and you can call this intro or music in. Click OK. You have my intro, and then I have here my chorus. You want to make sure that the markers are perfectly aligned with your score. Okay, chorus. Perfect. And then you go here, and I'm going to select this. I'm going to call this like a break. And then I'm going to select this is going to be my second chorus. And you can select at the end the outro. Perfect. You can add all the markers that you need. So we are all set. This is exactly what I'm expecting from you. So we have our click track with the right marimba 2 accented and marimba 2 in click 1 and click 2. We have our backing track. We have our tempo map perfectly aligned, and we have 2 bars of count off. And our whole session is starting in bar 1, exactly bar 1, because that's what we want to do. We want to start in bar 1 so we can align everything perfectly with our score. Okay, bar 1. We're going to start in bar 1. That's it. We're all set. So make sure to follow these steps properly. Go back to the video. If you have to rewind things and relearn things or whatever, just go back. Make sure that you're following the steps properly, and good luck with everything. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's almost there. We're almost getting ready. So goodbye.